Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the show where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And I'm Jack Swakowski.
This is episode number 288, and today we're going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Rays at the Chicago White Sox. The Rays were in town for a whole week in Chicago. They played the White Sox first and then the Cubs. We saw them at both stadiums, but to be honest, a lot of stuff happened in both games, and so instead of trying to cram it all into one episode, we're breaking it up into two episodes. I know it's kind of a bit of a delay since they actually happened in the release, but we, there was some good stuff in both of these, so we wanted to kind of give each one its time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these are both Dennis-heavy episodes, so there's going to be some crazy stuff. You said some good stuff, Jeremy. It reminds me of the Dennis line when he got Nico 3 times at waiting for his pizza. He's like, "Yeah, but I got some good stuff here." So there's a lot of good stuff from both of these. For the first night, so the episode that we're doing right now is the first Rays game at Sox Park. We were actually with our friend Chris as well, which was cool.
Yeah, right. It was. I said at the end of the night, it was like good to get the band back together. I think like we do pretty well for ourselves, Jack. But even when even when it's a new team, we can struggle sometimes, the two of us. So a third person's always good. Sometimes two of us might have the guy, or one of us has the guy and one guy doesn't. And so it's always good to have some extra help there. So it was cool. With the White Sox, you're pretty close that you kind of don't even really need to, and sometimes they're wearing their uniforms, but still it was good. Although it was a little crazy. We'll get into all that in a minute. Just a programming note for me, Jack. I just landed about 4 hours ago back in Chicago from Los Angeles. I was out there visiting a friend of mine, Scott, who we talk about on certain episodes. Never been on the podcast, but has had some insights into our graphing that he's shared in not so uncertain terms. But I dragged him out to a Dodgers game. And so I think I might do a solo episode about that. I don't know if I can get Scott to call in for that, but I'll do a solo episode about it. But Jack, I texted you about it. I went to the Monday Dodgers Phillies game, and it was a great game. It was a lot of back and forth. Homers from Bryce Harper, Mookie Betts, and Kyle Schwarber's 53rd of the year. But Jack, the thing that I'm particularly proud of myself about or excited about is that we walked to the game. We entered Dodger Stadium on foot, or entered the stadium grounds on foot, which I think is kind of unheard of in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, so you sent me some slides here, Jeremy, that I'm looking at, so I can kind of see the route you took a little bit.
Yeah, it's like there's. I think it was even the day of. I was Googling. Can you walk to Dodger Stadium? Okay, because in case anyone doesn't know, Dodger Stadium is infamous for Dodgers fans leaving in the seventh inning, pretty much to beat traffic. Just if you stay for the whole game, you're liable to get stuck in 2 hours of traffic or something. I don't think we've ever talked about it on the podcast, Jack, but we are lucky that we live by Wrigley and you just pretty much walk to the stadium. But if we lived in a town where the park was, out in the suburbs or something, and we go to as many games as we do, that would be problematic. So
it would. Think about Milwaukee, right? I mean, you go there and you have to pay $20 for parking, and you don't even get good parking.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I found these blogs or whatever talking about how to get to Dodger Stadium, and so basically, we parked in Chinatown across the freeway, and then you walk on this pedestrian bridge over the 101 freeway, and it's all barbed wired and chain linked in, and it's it's definitely like an urban setting. And then that's just to get to the park grounds. And then you have to kind of like hike up this like steep hill to get up to Dodger Stadium. Like you're walking up, that hill that overlooks like Chavez Ravine or whatever. So it was interesting. Scott and I went on like this crazy hike earlier that day where I feel like if a couple things broke differently, we would have needed like to be medevaced out of there. It was like beating sun and we were out in like these like desert conditions. Again, I can talk more about that on the solo episode, but after doing that, the hike up to Dodger Stadium wasn't too bad, but I have to say I was like very pleased with being able to figure that out as someone who's only been to like Los Angeles like 3 times in my life.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So that was exciting. And yeah, like I said, it was a good game. So more to come on that for sure. The other thing I was going to say, Jack, is we know that the Brewers clinched a playoff spot. I don't know. Was that the day that the Ken Rosenthal thing happened? We haven't really talked about that.
Yeah, that was the day he knocked over that photographer. Because they interviewed Monasterio after the game. But all of that kind of blew up. So folks, if you haven't seen it, it's sure it's an easy clip to find, but yeah, it's like just indisputable evidence that he's an asshole.
I know, and then he like came out and was like saying like, I have the utmost respect for so and so. He's like, and I can't wait to work with him again. It's like, Jesus, man, like,
yeah,
you better off just
that
saying
clip
like,
made me like Carlos Correa.
Oh, yes, yeah, exactly, yeah, just standing a foot and a half taller than him and talking down to him. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, he almost would have been better off. I know we're off the reservation here, but he almost would have been better off just saying like, I'm sorry, I lost my cool, and I apologize, instead of just saying like, oh, it was all in good fun or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
He said he was more surprised than anything when he viewed the clip. It was just a total non-apology.
Yeah, for sure. It was bad. So anyway, but yes, the Brewers are in, but the Cubs today clinched a playoff spot. We have talked about it. It is, if the season ended today, the Cubs would host the Padres for 3 games. So that means that there's going to be more baseball in Chicago, presumably. So that's a good thing. Although the real life implications of that for a Cubs fan like myself, Jack, is like, I don't know if I'm going to be leaving my house early in the 7th inning for those games just to make it down to Graph, but I guess the possibility's out there,
Well, I guess the good thing is that we've tried to get the Padres 3 years in a row. I think we've tried to do them, and they've never signed it during the season. So, right. There's almost a negative chance that it'll happen during the playoffs. So it's probably not losing too much if we don't Graph.
Yeah, and with Schilt running the helm on that one, he might put muzzles on these guys, or like put like handcuffs on these guys, so they couldn't pick up a pen if they wanted to. But it would be cool. I would like to go there just to kind of like, I'd like to wear these guys out right. I could actually maybe play a factor in the series.
Sure, yeah. We'll text Dennis too, right?
Yeah, right. We should each show up with like a sheet of 8 like Fernando Tatis cards and just have him like rack, and then like he'll get like a cramp for the next game and like be ineffective. So
right.
So yeah, so those are 2 things right off the top I wanted to address. But yeah, Jack, playoff baseball is upon us, so it's getting there. Season's winding down, but yeah, we got 2 Rays games to talk about here in these next couple episodes. But first things first, the Tuesday, September 9th game against the White Sox.
Yeah, so Jeremy, I actually arrived last out of the 3 of us, but we were at Gate 3. I had previously said that Dennis told me he entered through Gate 3, but I hadn't seen him. But there's actually 2 entrances to Gate 3. One is a little bit more north of the other one.
What?
And, you guys were at I guess for a lack of a better direction, the southernmost one, the one where you have to walk furthest to.
There's infield. It's Gate 3 infield, Gate 3 outfield.
Okay, yeah, so I had been doing Gate 3 outfield just because I didn't know any better. So yeah, Gate 3 infield is definitely where it's at.
Well, yeah, actually, Jack, I think it's the opposite. Maybe I think we were at the outfield one, even though we
were okay.
Yeah, because I did the same thing. I was at Gate 3 infield, and then Chris came by and he's like, "No, this one." He pointed to the other one, and I walked over and just met him there. But yeah, because you would think that it would be the infield one, but if I'm remembering correctly, it was counterintuitive. It was like I think it was the outfield one, even though whatever we were running to the infield. So yeah, okay, but yeah, again, I've only graphed a couple times at White Sox, so I wasn't 100% sure. So maybe not that we owe Dennis an apology, but maybe he was telling the truth about that. I guess.
Yeah, he definitely was. He didn't give many details about it. I will say that he could have said Gate 3 outfield, but he wanted to give as little as possible. When I rolled up, we were one of the first people in line, but Dennis was in front of us. And he was in like the line to our left, and then one of his older friends, who I've actually mentioned on the podcast, and we mentioned him a couple years ago. He was the guy who snapped up Tanner Bybee at a Guardians game. I think it was maybe last season, 2 seasons ago. I don't know, So that guy was there as well, and he was the first in line in our line. But when Dennis saw me, he just nodded, and that was it. Didn't look happy to see me at all. Yeah. Even though we have each other's number. Well, that's the thing about Dennis, man. He's never happy to see you, because if you're there, it just means you're another body that could be like interfering with him getting an autograph.
Well, he even said as much too. He because then this third guy showed up, who's kind of a goofy guy, and he actually seems like he's probably closer to our age than Dennis's age, but he's in Dennis's inner circle, I guess. But I heard him even say to that guy, he's like, well, these guys are going to beat us too there, and like referring to like us three. So I said to Chris, and I think I said to you too, I was like, I feel like there's a generational war going on here, where it's like Dennis's era versus our era. But like he, I think he respects us, but he doesn't, doesn't want the competition. But yeah.
Well, Jeremy, when they opened the gates and when we all went in, obviously Dennis went in first, and even though he was with his friend or whatever, at least like the guy who's as old as him, like Dennis got through that security real fast, and I just saw him busting ass up the escalator, just leaving all of us in the dust. Like he wanted that catbird seat so bad.
Yeah. Dennis should be happy to see us because we up his game. It's like he's I'm sure he would probably runs no matter what, but if he knows that we're there, then he knows that he's got to be at the top of his game, so he should be happy to see us.
Absolutely. But Jeremy, if he was unhappy to see us, I think his instincts were right, because when we got down there, it was a war zone, man. It was terrible. It was like 8 adult men trying to get autographs from the Rays, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but there is not a lot of room. There's almost no room there, so there's no room to maneuver at all. So if you got 8 grown men all pressing up against each other trying to get autographs, it's just like it's chaos.
Yeah, it's like some sort of like octopus like entanglement, like Rat King sort of situation. Like I just like we were all like. And then there's basically, I feel like there's like maybe 3 somewhat comfortable spots like along the dugout to reach in and get autographs. And then, but then there's there's 5 other guys behind those 3 trying to get in. And it's like, Chris was one of those 3. And there was a couple times, it's like, I'm glad I know Chris pretty well now at this point, because I was pretty much pressing the front of my body up against his and like scooching down to like put my card down to get autographed. And like it was very similar. I think I talked about it on the podcast at the beginning of the season when I got Ron Washington and Yohan Moncada for the Angels. It was very similar to that, where you're just kind of just taking your marker, uncapping it, sticking the card in your hand, and just reaching it out into the abyss, and hoping that you feel a player grab it, and then hoping you can turn your head around in order to like see it and grab it. So it was intense. We did get a lot of guys, but I gotta say, Jack, I had a heartbreaking, an alarming amount of cards get kind of like fucked up in this process, and it was all because it was such a war zone.
It was, man. I mean, it was like it was the graphing equivalent of like that scene in Saving Private Ryan, when they're storming the beach, where like everything goes, slow motion and all of the sound stops, and like you're just kind of taking all of the chaos in. Yeah, you really have to negotiate it with the other guys who are there. So like, there were a couple times Chris got his autograph, then you handed him your card and he got yours, and then I had to be like, hey Chris, can I get in there too? And Chris would step back, and then like I would get in and like desperately try to get the guy as he was finishing up signing, and yeah, I did really well too, and I got every guy that you guys got, save for Carson Williams, whose card I didn't bring. But yeah, you really have to, and then eventually, Jeremy, you and I figured out something, because you ended up kind of getting a spot, because I think maybe somebody cleared out, or I don't know, but like you got a spot sort of by where the on deck circle is, kind of to Dennis's left. And then like you would be like, hey Jack, like I'm gonna get this guy, then I'll step back, then you come in and get him. So and like at one point, like I tried to go low, like by the dugout, so Chris could go over me. And I'll say this, man, Dennis with his catbird seat, he doesn't budge at all, man.
No,
like he won't move. He won't let you get in. Like he is firmly planted there. And I realized, because I graphed on Wednesday, so the day after this, I went by myself. I realized that Dennis is actually kind of taking up the space of two people with the way he stands.
Yeah.
Because I let that older guy in because he was there Wednesday too, and like we both took up as much space as Dennis was taking up by himself.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it was terrible. And then that old guy, he was at like the top of the dugout, so he kind of got screwed in the whole matter.
Yeah, he a couple times he had to be like, hey, do you got time for one more? And then like he handed his book like down to like three people, and then like they'd pass it to the player, and then he'd get signed. Yeah, that guy did not break out of the gate.
No,
like, well, to use a horse racing term, he was slow out of the gate, so that hurt him right off the bat. And yeah, he's an older guy. He's probably has like a fake, has a knee replacement or something, or a hip replacement. But yeah, nice enough guy.
Yes.
But
Jeremy,
yeah.
that asshole also was by Dennis, who you had an encounter with earlier this season.
Yeah, and I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I was at the Rangers Sox game earlier this year, and I wanted to get Wyatt Langford, and I was out there like with my book out, and then there's this guy. He's a younger guy, younger than Dennis, but probably I would say maybe late 40s, maybe.
Yeah,
he's older than us, but not by a lot, and he wears like. He looks like a fucking like Little League dad or something. Like he wears like the warm up sweatshirt of the team. And anyway, he reached right over me and like put his fucking card over mine and got Wyatt Langford and screwed me out of getting him. And so like this guy is on my hit list.
Yeah.
And I still replay that moment, and I regret not just just crumpling his card.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of sucks. But yeah, he was there as well. Jack. So like I said, several of my cards got messed up during the process. It was mostly because I was passing them, like naked, basically, just the loose card. Jack, did you? I wanted to ask you, did you end up taking any of your cards out of your book, or did you get them signed in the book each time?
I got them all of them were in the book.
Yeah. Okay. So it's tough when you're up that close. The instinct is, especially at the White Sox, the instinct is to like maybe take the card out of the book just so it's easier to hand it to the player. But that's how I got in trouble with a lot of my cards. Like it wouldn't have happened if I kept them in the book. But basically, I got Josh Lowe, and that got like a thumbprint on there, and I don't know whose it was. I think it had to have been Josh Lowe's thumbprint, but kind of a bummer. And then I got Hunter Fiducia, and that was one that Chris passed up for me. And he was like, he got it, he was passing it back to me, and then he got bumped, and then the damn card like fell out of his hand, and he like then jerked to get it, and like the card somehow got like wedged between him and another guy, I think the guy who bumped him, and it got bent a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks fine from the front. It's just a little bit of bend on the back, and I have it on a top loader, so it's actually fine, but not ideal. And then my Pete Fairbanks got messed up. That one I actually got myself. He signed. I handed him the card. He signed it, and then he kind of like put it back in my hand, and he put the autograph right on my thumb. Like he kind of just wedged it in there, and it went right on my thumb, and I was like, no, and like it got smudged. And that one was by me, and that's kind of a bummer. But I was thinking like we had another shot at some of these guys, so stay tuned for the Cubs episode to see if I could right the wrongs on any of those. But yeah, it was
Jeremy,
was rough.
Let me tell you, I'm a little bit so I noticed because I got the Hairbanks 2025 Heritage signed on Tuesday, and we had a chance to re-up on him later in the week, like you said. And I'm glad I did now, because this Heritage card, it was like, I don't know if you've ever had one like this, but it must have been defective out of the box, because like I never dropped it or anything, and yet like one of the corners is like slightly bent. And it kind of pissed me off when I looked at the card closer. I didn't see that when I put it in my book. And it wasn't one of the corners that was in the photo corner in my book. So it's just kind of maybe just out of the factory it was like defective. So I was kind of pissed about that. So I think I'm gonna put the other Fairbanks in my collection. Even though I think maybe I like the Heritage signature a little bit better. But whatever. Have you ever had that with a Heritage card? Or any card?
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Sometimes they get dinged. So is it like dinged or is it bent? Like,
it's just dinged. I would say dinged. It's dinged more than bent.
Gotcha.
And yes, who knows? Maybe I dropped it on the table or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's always frustrations about the quality control. I mean, like 99% of the cards come out probably fine, but it does happen every so often. Yeah, it just depends. Sometimes it also depends on like. So did you get that from a box, like a factory?
I did.
A hobby box. Yeah, sometimes the boxes get dinged, and then like the whole stack of cards gets messed up. So it does happen. It's pretty frustrating though. Yeah, because when you don't do it, it's frustrating to get one that's already dinged.
Right. So yeah, I was a little ticked off about that, but whatever. We got Griffin Jax, and I found out the next day that like Jax was kind of tough with the Twins, so it's cool that we got him. I think we both got Morel again, right? You got Morel too?
Yep, I did. Yep.
Yeah, so re-upped on him. I was glad to re-up on him because I only got him once on a card when he was with the Cubs, and I feel like with as much as he signed, I should have gotten him more. I got Nick Fortes. Did you get Fortes?
Not this day. I had him previously from the Marlins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. And then we both got Pepio. And then Pepio. I got Kyle Snyder because I didn't have him. So the Snyder one was kind of funny because he said that like he's like, yeah, I'll sign later. I got to go in now. And then that the asshole, the Wyatt Langford guy, was like, he's like, hey, come on, they're gonna kick us out. Which is true. They would have kicked us out by the time Snyder came back. So Snyder put his water bottle down and he came over and signed for us. I think he did 3 for Dennis. So yeah, that was cool. He was a guy I didn't get at the bus 2 years ago when the Rays were here. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, that's I almost forgotten about that. That's right. That guy made him do that. It's like, yeah, never mind that he has a Major League Baseball game to coach. But yeah, it's like, yeah, man, hey, listen, I respect that you got to go over your game plan, but I got some cards here that need signing, coach. So, pick up that pen and do an about face. Yeah, that's funny though. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, I said Carson Williams. The morale I got was a cool one. It was like this insert of that walk-off homer he had against the White Sox. So it's a really cool card. I got Everson Pereira, Fairbanks. I got Chandler Simpson, Josh Lowe, Pepio, Jax, Bobby Seymour, Fiducia, and then I got Jake Mangum too. He was the first guy I got. Like right when I walked in, I had to flip to Mangum and get him. And that's cool because we found out, and I think this thought crossed my mind, or this name crossed my mind, but they confirmed it. Although again, it's the White Sox, so I probably should have gotten a second source on that. But Jake Mangum is John Mangum's son, who used to play on the Bears back in like the late 80s, early 90s, or maybe the early 90s.
Yeah.
So I remember that guy as a kid. So that was pretty cool to get his son's autograph. And
yeah, heck yeah.
It would be cool to get John Mangum's autograph somehow, if possible. So, yeah.
You think you have a card of him?
I don't know. I'd have to see if he had a card. Yeah. It would be, yeah, I have to Google it, but I don't even know how I would get him. But yeah, it would be cool.
Sure.
Definitely.
Well, so yeah, graphing ended up wrapping up a little bit. Yeah, all of the guys went in, so that's the best I've ever done before a game. It was great. I mean, you did great. Everybody did great. And so Dennis was talking to this older guy, and I heard part of this conversation, Jeremy, and it sounds like you heard a different part. But they were talking about like meeting somewhere, because like the old guy, and we got to get a name for this guy, but it just hasn't happened yet. But he's like, are you gonna stay? And Dennis is like, no, I'm not gonna stay. And then like the guy I would ultimately find out ended up staying. But Dennis was like, yeah, well, how about we just meet at your house? I'll just come over to your house. And then a little bit later he goes, I'll meet you at 7-Eleven. And so 7-Eleven, I guess, was the first suggestion. But Jeremy, I guess you heard something maybe different after that.
Oh, that's funny, because I just heard like, yeah, okay, I'll meet you at Walgreens.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
That's funny.
Not exactly real like hot spots to meet somebody.
Yeah, no, and it's like what was it about Walgreens that was okay, but 7-Eleven wasn't? Like, unless it's just surely a proximity thing, but it's like no, I don't go to 7-Eleven. I only go to Walgreens. Like, I don't know. That's weird, but yeah.
Yeah, so that wrapped up. And Jeremy, did Dennis get Joe Rock? You never got Joe Rock, did you?
No, I didn't. But I made a note of that because Chris said later on, he was like, yeah, I just heard Dennis saying like, I need Joe Rock. I'm trying to get Joe Rock. Where's Joe Rock? Is that Joe Rock? Like, he kept mentioning Joe Rock, and it's like, he's not here, Dennis. Sorry, no Joe Rock for you.
No.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's who knows if he got him on Friday? I don't think we asked him, but
he was DFA'd already by that point, or not DFA'd, but he was
Christ.
already optioned by that point. So no.
God damn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that happened to a couple guys for the Rays.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we the Rays wrapped up, but I think it was maybe Chris who spotted this guy, but he spotted Billy Carlson, so he was the first round pick for the White Sox. I think he was the 10th overall pick in the draft. Which is pretty high, and so that's pretty cool. And so he was just he was in the stands, and he walked over towards the right field foul pole just with his family or friends and like this big group of people. They were just kind of hanging out over there, and so we kind of got the idea like, hey, like, why don't we go over there and see if we can try to get his autograph? I don't think he has any cards yet, Jeremy. You can correct me on that, but none of us had one if he did. So Chris actually spotted me a SIG card, which was very cool. And so we made the journey over to try to, shoot our shot and get this guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Chris definitely spotted him from far away. I give the assist to Chris on that one because he's the White Sox fan. So yeah, man, that sucks. It does look like he does have a card in Stars and Stripes, which is makes it a little bit more of a bummer that it's like, I mean, it was just like with the Ethan Conrad thing when I got Conrad at the Cubs a couple like series ago. It's like, why would you have this card on you? It turns out the Sox had a couple, like they had their first and second round draft picks, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, now it chides just a little more that like he had a card theoretically that could have gotten signed, but
sure.
But it was still a good signature, and like. Chris, I think, wanted to get him for the same reasons I wanted to get Conrad, and it's like, yeah, first round pick, even if it's not a SIG card, probably pretty good idea just to get it in your collection. Who knows if these guys will ever sign, once they get past certain levels. So it's like,
or they personalize.
Yeah, exactly. Or they personalize. It's like, like if you got, I bet you probably could have got Dansby Swanson the summer after he got drafted,
Yeah.
But now you got to be a little kid to do it. So it never hurts to get him in the collection. So that was pretty cool. It was funny because we were trying to be respectful of their space. Because he had like a ton of family with him. But we were at some point we were kind of hovering by there, and then it looked like some other people who weren't his family ended up coming over there and like saying hi to him. And so then we were kind of like, okay, it's open game. And Chris kind of like led the way out there. And he ended up taking the family picture. Like there was this whole like family picture with Billy Carlson and all the relatives and parents and whatever. And Chris is the one who took it. So I actually meant to check to see if like Billy Carlson posted that on his like Instagram, because like it's like Chris took that picture. If you see a picture of Billy Carlson and his family at Rate Field, that was taken by our very own Chris, the graphic. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. I think. Well, I would say it would be cool if I took a picture of Ethan Carlson, but I'm thinking, or Conrad, sorry, but I'm thinking of one picture in particular that I'm glad I didn't really take.
You would have maybe been putting your no, we don't need to go there.
That's another story.
Okay, so that was cool. So I think we were kind of riding high off of that. It was also $5 night, so $5 dogs, I think $5 draft beers, $5 sodas.
Yeah, pizzas, brats. There's this, and like popcorn. I think there's a small little list of things that are $5, and I've been to one $5 night before, and it's pretty sweet. You can load up on a couple different things. I ended up getting. It was funny because I like wasn't that hungry, but I got a brat. And then later on, I would get a slice of pizza too. There was kind of a second. There was kind of like a hidden. Or there's like an ulterior motive for me getting the pizza later on, which I can get into, but yeah, like it's not bad. Like you can get a soda and a Polish for $10, so that's good.
I was actually a little surprised, Jeremy, because I got myself a soda, but I thought it was going to be fountain drinks, because it seems like it'd be cheaper to do fountain drinks, and it was actually bottles, which was fine.
Yeah.
But I was a little surprised by that. They just I figured they load your fountain drink up with ice or something, so you don't get as much soda, and then they do it. But yeah, it was a good deal. I haven't had the pizza at Rate Field, but I think it's Beggars, right?
Yeah. I think the first time I had it was at a Sox game. I've since actually had it from the restaurant, like delivery, and it is good pizza. As a north side guy, Beggars is a south side place. It's pretty good.
Did you get it at work or something?
Yeah, downtown. I work downtown, and when we order pizza for the kids, some of my managers would pick Beggars to get it from. So
okay.
Good deal.
Do you remember when they had that Beggars in Wrigleyville?
Yeah, I do, and it only lasted for I feel like it didn't even last a year. No,
it didn't, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very brief, and I never ordered from it when it was. That's probably why it's not there anymore. But
yeah, right. It's weird. It seems almost like they did it reluctantly, and then when it didn't take off in the first 6 months, they're like, all right, screw the north side, we're closing or something. But so that was odd, but yeah, it is legitimately good pizza, I would say, as a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
So this is the aftermath of the graphing before the game actually started. I ran to the bathroom really quick, I think, before the game started, and Jack, it was this is definitely a bad look for the White Sox, but I went into the bathroom and there was a guy in a wheelchair waiting for the handicap accessible bathroom stall.
Yeah.
And I could see under the door, and it was just a pair of feet in there, and then the person opens the door and steps out after a minute or so, and it was a White Sox employee who was just, I don't know what they were doing. They were just looking at their phone, or maybe they peed and then were looking at their phone, but it's and it was a kid too. It was a young guy, and
sure.
There's probably been times where you, myself, any other guy has tried his maybe gone to use the bathroom and like the handicap stall is right there, so you use it. And it's like you never expect to open the door and see someone who actually needs it waiting to use it.
Right.
And this kid didn't even this kid, it just completely washed over the top of his head. Like he didn't even say like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like I almost knocked on it and like said like, "Hey, someone needs this," but I'm like I didn't want to like unwantedly interject or something, but
Sure.
But it was definitely a bad look, and it's like, of course, this happened to a White Sox game and an employee, so it was not great.
No, we had just more drama in the White Sox restroom. So Jeremy, Jim Tomei was there. We missed Gene Honda made some sort of announcement that Jim Tomei was like mentoring or like recruited or whatever, scouted one of the 2 draft picks. I think maybe he said it was Billy Carlson, but it might have been the but anyway, it was hard to hear what was going on. But he was there because of them, and he was sitting in the scout seats. And Tomei was one of my favorite players as a kid because he blew up right in the mid '90s, right when I started watching baseball. Saw him hit a home run with the Indians when I was a little kid at County Stadium. So he was always one of my favorites. But he was in the scout seat, so he was completely inaccessible. He's a big guy, Jeremy. He's hard to he's a hard guy to miss. Mm-hmm. But you had a card of him. I didn't, so I wasn't really that broken up about it. But you had a card, you went on a little mission.
We'll talk about loose ends. Like this was a loose end from spring training where like I didn't get him. He's there. He pretty much signs for everyone who's trying to get him, and if you're there at the right time, you can get him. But like I think one time we called for him and he's like, "I'll get you guys after practice." But it was the day that it was like I was going to see the Cubs versus the Dodgers at Camelback, and so I had to leave to go to the game, and I couldn't wait around for him. And it's like a damn loose thread hanging over my head. So like I'm like, oh my God. I sent him through the mail to Camelback Ranch, and my card got returned to me unsigned. So I'm like really trying to get him. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go to I'm not quite sure if I'm going to go to spring training again in 2026. So if I don't, I might have to wait 2 years to get him, and who knows, where we'll all be at that point. So I really wanted to get him. So I was almost like going to sell out missing part of the game to just try to get him. I was keeping an eye on him, and he was in the scout seats, but he did kind of go down or in or whatever at some point. And I'm like, man, it's like, can I get anywhere near where he's probably coming out? Like, do I have a shot at this at all? And I was like really trying to like make it happen. At some point, Jack, I was discussing it with Chris, like who maybe knows the stadium pretty well, and like discussing it with you, and like I'm like, what could I do here to put myself in position to get him? And so I'm like, you can't get to the scout seats from certain spots. So I was like really trying to figure out what I could do. Jack, at one point I did get up, I got a slice of pizza, and I was like scouting out like these kind of 2 access points from like the main concourse, where like you either go up to the press box or maybe you go down. There's a spot where you can walk down to the scout seats. But it's like a second entrance. So anyway, Jack, I was gone for about like an inning, I want to say, maybe a half inning. Basically what I was doing at that point, Jack, was I was standing at the top of the concourse by those spots, eating like a slice of pizza with like my book turned to the Jim Tomei page, just waiting for him to pop out somewhere.
Yeah, reminiscent of Popeye Doyle in The French Connection. He's on the street like eating that piece of pizza, like waiting for Frog 1 to make an appearance.
Oh wow! I didn't. Yeah. I've never seen the movie, Jack, but that I can picture that scene. I'm familiar with the movie, but I haven't actually seen it. But that's pretty funny. I pulled a Popeye Doyle.
Yeah, I mean, there's basically like that's what that happens. In
oh
that
my
movie.
God,
so
that's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, to talk about like doing parodying something without knowing that you're actually doing it. So
yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, so I was standing there waiting, and like I was convinced. I believe that if I would have stayed there for like 3 innings, I might have seen. I think I would have seen him. Like this just like we once saw Rick Hahn up there, GM of the White Sox.
We saw Harold Baines up there.
Yeah, we saw Harold Baines. Rick Hahn is still the GM, right?
Rick Hahn, no, it's Getz.
That's right.
At that point, he was the GM. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean now, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, it's Getz. Because I was like, Rick Hahn's got to be gone, but I couldn't remember who the GM was, even though I got Chris Getz. But anyway,
Rick Hahn is probably like he probably has court tomorrow morning or something. He was a lawyer, right?
Oh, was he? Okay.
I think so. Anyway, enough about Rick Hahn.
Right.
But yeah, so the bottom line. There was precedent for like seeing these guys in the like where you were standing.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was in the right spot. I was in the best spot possible for someone with limited access. If I had better access,
yes.
I could have maybe gotten a better spot for Tommy. But yeah, because we figured he probably went up to the sky boxes at some point or the announcer's booth or something. Yeah. And I probably would have caught him at that point. But it didn't work out. I didn't see him. I think I maybe went up one other time just to see, and nothing was doing. So I had to let that one go. But yeah, that one still hangs over me. I mean, also particularly because Tommy was like $150, I think. Because he did do a signing here, but it's like I could have got him in spring training for free or paid $150. It's like, well, I would have rather gotten him for free. But he's a big loose thread for me. So just up there with Roger Clemens, of course. But
right.
Yeah, so we'll see. If that ever gets closed off.
Yeah. And hey, I want him too. So maybe we'll both be there at some time. But anyway, the game moved on. Jeremy, you eventually came back to the seats. I think you had one quarter of that piece of pizza left.
Right.
But so that you see a whole bunch of characters walking up and down the aisles. I think the game we were at with Mark, it was that shirtless guy, that shirtless ripped old guy, which was weird. Yeah. Today or for this game, it was this guy with really high hair. Like he had a big pompadour. He looked like it was either like Johnny Bravo or Andrew Dice Clay went during his peak of fame.
Jack,
so it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Is a pompadour only in the front? Because this guy's hair was high all around. He looked like to me
it was.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo, but he also has a pompadour too. But this guy, his hair was high. It was like standing up all the way around his head. Like it almost looked like Kid and Play. I think it's Kid from Kid and Play, but like with just hair combed up. It was it was really goofy.
It was.
I'm trying to think of another example, but it's like if Kid's hair was like more fine or whatever, and like standing straight up, like it was like that. It looked like a crown of hair on his head.
Yeah, I mean it looked like it must have taken the guy forever to do it, but it was also just really gaudy as well, and it stood out. And I think he actually got up and down twice, so we got to look at it a couple of times.
And too stylized for a White Sox game. Like what why would you do that for a White Sox game? Like what?
No.
What is he? Who's he trying to look good for? What's he trying to prove? It was bizarre, and he was a goofy looking guy anyway. So the whole thing was funny, and I'm glad. I think I saw him, and I tried to nudge you, and I think you didn't. You finally saw him as right when he was like parallel with us. So I'm glad you got to see him again, and see like his full face or whatever, because it was pretty funny.
I'm glad I wasn't sitting behind him, because I bet that hair would have blocked the entire batter's box.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you would have to like move over a seat if you were behind him. So yeah, that was a funny visual. At some point, this group of people, and like we were not sitting in our seats, and we were sitting like pretty close up, I would say. Maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20 rows up, maybe even less than that. I don't know. Let's say 15.
They were nice seats.
Yeah, and so these people came in and sat behind us. Jack, I think they were French, although I'm not 100% sure. I think they were speaking French, but there was like 4 of them behind us, and they were just talking about baseball, and like they were like cheering for just a play when a ball was like put into play. Like if it could have been a ground out to short, they would cheer, and they were cheering for both teams. Like they just didn't really know what they were watching or rooting for, but they would just cheer whenever any action happened. But Jack, at one point, not even one point, at certain points during the game, they would just like meow. So one of them would just meow
Oh
for
my
some
gosh!
random reason.
See, I didn't hear this. This is where my hearing problem is like a detriment to me. That's crazy. I didn't know that was
Yeah,
happening.
they would just be sitting there, and then I would just hear like meow, like that, and then like I would hear them go gato or whatever cat is in French, and like then like just like 40 minutes would pass, and you just hear meow again, and it was like, what the fuck are these people doing? Like, get out of here with this friggin' meowing and stop. And don't, if you're gonna do it, don't sit behind us where it's going right into our ears. It was really annoying.
Right. Jared, that's another one where it's like, what are these people doing here? And I'm guessing it's because they, maybe they're tourists.
Yeah.
And they were on vacation in Chicago, and they're like, oh, like we have to go to an American baseball game.
Yeah.
To just get the experience. But like, do they know that going to a White Sox game is not the typical like baseball experience for America? Like, these people are going to go back to France and like talk about all the crazy stuff they saw here, and it's like that's not representative of what going to a major league game is like.
Yeah, no, exactly. Though we're gonna be like, yes, people in America, have hairstyles where all of their hair sticks straight up in the air. It's like, no, it's just that one freaky White Sox fan. but yeah.
Yeah. No, that was good. And then there was no other way for me to describe this, but there was this guy who was doing like this Ace Ventura battle cry where he was like, ah, yeah, 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 yeah. It sounded like, what Ace Ventura would do, like when he would, try to call an animal.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what the guy was trying to do?
No, I think I faintly heard this. Like, I think like I heard. See, I think I subliminally heard this because he wasn't directly behind us. He was maybe like 10 rows behind us. Is that
Yes.
accurate, Jack?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I just heard. I thought it was more like just like. Like that, like a Tarzan yell or something, but because I'm picturing that scene in Ace Ventura where he like calls, where he like lets out that big like yell, and then all these animals like come to him, basically.
That's what it sounded like. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
weird.
These people just yell stuff to hear themselves yell. I was sitting in front of it's funny because I traveled 2,000 miles to Dodger Stadium, classic game, paid a lot of money for good seats. And I was sitting behind this idiot who was just talking the whole night. And like, this is why I want Scott on, because he had his own. Scott does listen to this podcast, and he's an easily annoyable guy like we are. And we basically had our own episode of Rain Delay Theater, like on the drive back from the game, just ripping this guy because he was just saying stupid stuff out loud. So it happens everywhere you go, even in Los Angeles. But yeah, so that was annoying.
Jeremy, there was a new scoreboard thing that I don't think we had ever seen before, but it was this was a new one. It was Sox lookalikes.
It was new for the Sox. It's like other teams have been doing it for like 5 years at this point. But if it's 5 years old, leave it to the Sox to get it into the rotation on their scoreboard. But
so basically the lookalikes thing is they would show a celebrity, and then they would find random people in the audience who look like that celebrity. Now, the bar for the White Sox's like choices is just like, if this, if it's, I'm trying to think of a blonde celebrity, whatever. If the celebrity
Margot
is a blonde woman, so if the celebrity is just a blonde woman, then any woman who is blonde will just be shown on the screen. Yeah, it was weak, man.
It was. There were some that were really bad. There were some that were probably borderline offensive.
So I'll point one out. There was one for Stacey King, and like who I think does like TV for the Bulls.
He's the color guy for the Bulls.
Yeah, so they show him, and then like he's kind of a it's been a long time since he played, so he's just kind of like, he's a heavy-set African-American man. So just the guys they showed were just like heavy-set African-American men. Like that was it. It was very, very lazy. Yes,
yeah. It was, I mean, honestly, it seems like stuff that people get in trouble for. It's like accuse, like when you mistake someone for someone else, the classic joke / hey, watch what you're saying, watch what you're doing there. It was weird, and like there was some kind. I mean, it seemed like everyone was taking it in good fun, which was nice. But I also wouldn't blame anyone for being upset by it and going to like fan services and saying like, hey, you guys better clean that up a little bit. There was another one too. I think there was like someone of Latin American descent as well. I forgot who. Like maybe who was it? I forget who it was, but they did it again with someone else, and I'm like, okay, guys, take it easy a little bit here.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think like, if they showed, you or me or something like what this celebrity, but it's not even worth like thinking about.
Yeah,
but, like,
right.
Yeah, that would be one where we could get like a freebie, if we were pissed about it. But
yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe we were upset enough to where an extra free ticket might make us feel a little bit better. But yeah. So I don't know. It was like when you see the highlights of it, sometimes they nail these people so good that it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I've also often like thought about how they do it. Like they must have the camera guys scouring for people like all game, and then they show the producer somewhere says like, oh, that looks like this person, or they probably give themselves like a couple of innings to put it all together.
Right.
But yeah, this was like. It was so weak that at some point they maybe should have been like, you know what, guys, let's just save it for next time because we're not getting that too many direct hits. But anyway, so yeah, it was fun. I would look forward to seeing that again just to see how much of a train wreck it is compared to this one.
I've been to 2 Sox games since then. They haven't done it since then. So who knows? Maybe it did get canceled.
That's funny.
This next one is sort of in the vein of I think one of the all-time classic lines in the podcast is "hustle" when that guy was yelling at Danny Mendick at the end of that alternate
site game.
Yeah, to try to get him to hustle to first base on a routine ground out at the end of the game, at the end of a game that meant nothing.
Yeah.
So this one,
game.
Jeremy. Yes. So this one, I think it came as a result of there was like a foul pop up, I think, and it was a tough play. Like the third baseman had a really long run for it. And he just couldn't make the play. So I think that's what the play was, but it might have been something like that, where it was like a tough play that just could not be made.
Yeah, it was like a low percentage play that like it was between the catcher and the third baseman nearing the dugout, and it's like any sane player would be hesitant to go full force for it. So those fall in all the time, and this one fell in. Yeah, and then the Sox fan, I think it was a Sox fan. Yeah, he just goes, "Make him pay." Like, all right, like you dropped it, make him pay.
Right. And Jeremy, I was thinking, for all we know, it could be the same guy that yelled "hustle." Like the common denominator there is that like we were at a White Sox game, so like what if it was just the same guy? It was a ridiculous comment though, because it's just like nobody made a mistake. Like there's no mistake to capitalize on here.
Yeah. No, it's like there was no error. Like it's just one of those things, like a Texas leaguer that falls in or something. Like. Right. No one, you would never play for that thing. So yeah, it was ridiculous, and I don't even remember what that bet was or the outcome, but that guy was a fool for sure. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That was pretty close to the end of the game, and then the game ended, and the Sox, I think, did they come back and tie it, or did they maybe? No, I don't know. I guess maybe it was never like in hand, but.
No, but it ended up being a good game. I mean, I have my scorecard here. It was a 5-4 game, so it was pretty close all the way through. Yeah. The White Sox had the tying run on base, with 2 outs in the 9th. A guy reached on an error, and it just, they made out with the last at bat. So, it was actually a pretty exciting game for a game that meant nothing. Yeah.
One thing that's funny, Jack, is I was finishing my scorecard. I actually didn't. I realize now that I didn't put like the winners and losers, or winning pitcher, losing pitcher, all that stuff. But I went to put the attendance down, Jack, and I looked at the box score that night, and they didn't have the attendance in it. There just was no attendance.
Weird, man.
Yeah, there's no attendance figure. I just looked it up now while we were recording, and they managed to come up with a final calculation. Usually, I would guess like a bigger attendance number would be harder to calculate, but this was the attendance ended up being 12,487 paid.
Oof,
So
that's
who
rough,
knows?
man. So that
Yeah.
means it's way under that.
Yeah, and if for $5 a night too, like even that didn't get people out to the park. So, and it was a free T-shirt too. There was like a T-shirt giveaway. So,
It was.
yeah. So just sad, I guess.
Yep.
So game ended, and Chris was talking about that he had been seeing, like, there's these Facebook autograph groups that me and Chris are in. So we get a lot of good info that way. He was saying like how he was seeing some fans having success by the White Sox parking lot, and we've heard about the White Sox parking lot since we've been graphing, but it's a very low percentage type of thing. Anthony, I think, does it often, and so Chris wanted to try it out. Unfortunately, it was a night game, and so by the time the game ended, it was getting pretty late, and me and you, Jack, have like a train ride back up north. Pretty far to go. Chris lives in Indiana now, so he was driving to the game. So he had a ride home, but I did want to tag along just to see what would happen. And we actually did. I got two guys. I ended up getting Davis Martin and Grant Taylor.
Okay.
Two guys that I wanted to get. Davis Martin has had some. He's had some moments this year. His ERA might be in the fours, but he had a couple decent outings, and I feel like he's kind of won a spot in a rotation for next year. He's probably still under contract with the White Sox, but so he's had a good year. And then Grant Taylor, he might be the closer of the future for the White Sox. He has some saves under his belt. Sox don't get many saves, but I think he was kind of like closing some games out for them for a while, so they were good autographs to get. And it's usually the Sox are, like, for us, the hardest team to get because we don't ever get a shot at them really at a bus. So so it was cool to get them. We hung out for like a little bit, but I had to like take the train home. Jack, you had taken off at this point.
Yeah, I bailed immediately. I couldn't stay with you guys. I had to work early the next day, so I left you guys to it. So yeah, I didn't see any of this. Yeah,
so we got I got those two guys, and then like I headed to the train, and and this is already like good 40 minutes after the game ended or something like that. So weren't too many people coming back still from the game, which isn't the best thing. It's good when there's like a group of people, like a big crowd of people trying to get on the train just for safety's sake and whatnot. The red line can be pretty rough. For sure. And so, Jack, I went to the red line, and I was like standing there, like I was kind of standing by a group of people who had come from the game. But then they walked further down to try to get like in the middle of the cars. And I was standing there by myself, and I didn't want to just follow them right after they left. So I was kind of going to wait till the train was about to come and then start walking a little further in to get into the middle cars. And there was a guy standing on the platform, and he was wearing like a Cubs hoodie. And he had like the Bucket Boys sign. He was like a fucking Bucket Boy. He had the sign, and so like he was talking to some friends of his, and I just walked by him, and it was kind of a tight squeeze on the platform. And he goes like, and I was wearing my Rays hat, and I walked by him, and he goes like, hey Rays, hey Rays. And I turn and I look at him, and he's like, hey man, come on, you wanna donate some money to the Bucket Boys or something like that? And I go like, man, I'm sorry, I don't have any money. And he goes like, oh man, come on, Rays or something. And I'm like, hey man, I'm like, I like your sweatshirt, man. I'm a Cubs fan. And he's like, oh, you're a Cubs fan. Okay, all right. And I'm like, yeah, man, I see you guys outside of Wrigley. And he's like, okay. And like, I felt like that was enough to buy like some favor with the guy.
Right.
But I was already walking past him, so whatever. So, it was like an okay enough exchange, but like, I did not engage with this guy. He engaged with me, and like, I was already a little self-conscious about wearing a Rays hat, but he was wearing a Cubs sweatshirt, so whatever. So I had an interaction with him. It was fine, but like, I'm just trying to keep to myself. So it was that was a little hairy. And then the train, Jack, for the first couple stops was scary as hell. I would say not
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
It's not good, Jeremy. No, I think that's the only thing that needs to be said.
No. Yeah.
But,
After a couple of stops, some more people started getting on, and it was a little better. I considered maybe getting out after like one stop and taking an Uber, but I hung in there, and it
Sure.
was fine. But I think it took me like an hour to get home. It was rough.
Yeah, it's rough, Jeremy. That's why I have trouble going to 2 Sox games on consecutive days.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, the thought of making that commute 2 days in a row is just depressing.
It's
so
rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, oddly enough, so I guess, that ended that night. But just to kind of give a little preview into the next episode, I went the next day, just because it's, the season is winding down. And Jeremy, we both talked about this. It's like, a week from now, it's like no more games. I mean, unless we go to a playoff game or something, which we really have to shell out for. But anyway, I'm trying to get in as many as I could. So I went to the Rays game on Wednesday, and I felt like I'd left a few autographs on the table as well. So, I get up to the gate where we went in at the beginning of the episode, gate 3, and I see Dennis's friend there, and I just, I nod to him, he nods to me, and I go, "No, Dennis?" And he goes, "Nah, he's in Indianapolis doing Cubs AAA." And it's like, yeah, of course, it's never like, yeah, he is, him and his wife are having their anniversary dinner. It's like he's at his grandson's soccer game. It's like, no, he's getting autographs somewhere else. So,
Yeah, right.
That would come into play, or will come into play in the next episode for Dennis, because he talks a little bit about his experience there, and it's it's you're not going to want to miss what he has to say about that. So,
Did you say
yeah.
that guy got someone's autograph though, and like Morale?
Yeah,
was it?
so first of all, yeah, just a real quick rundown. I ended up getting Richie Palacios, I got Yandy Diaz, and I got Kevin Cash. And I said to the guy, I was like, have you ever gotten Cash? And he goes, he don't sign. So, like, him and Dennis are simpatico in that regard. But then when Kevin Cash walked over, he pointed him out to me, and he's like, "There's your cash." And, I called Kevin Cash over, and he did sign. So just like Dennis, like, he is sometimes wrong about, like, whether a guy will sign or not. But then Christopher Morel came over, and he went, Christopher, please. And then Morel signed for him, and he went, "Thank you, babe. Thank you." It was weird, man. It was some lame stuff, but nice guy overall.
Yeah, nice guy. Well, I mean, so Jack, you kind of relayed that story to me the next day or the next time we saw each other. I thought he said, "There's your cash" after you got his autograph. But it was
before.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I wonder if he meant on the field he doesn't sign, because I mean I got him too. Like, so
you
like
got him at the bus.
Yeah. I was pretty proud
and
of
this
that.
guy was actually. Yeah, that was a good one. That was an early manager autograph for you. And for us. But yeah, like, and he actually said he'd gotten Cash like a couple of years ago. So it's like, yeah, dude, he will sign. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, it was good. I was able to get Diaz too, which was nice. But I have a feeling we're going to be seeing more of that guy too if we do more Sox games. So we'll have to get a name for him.
Yeah, I know. I almost want to call him like Bibby Guy or something. Like, I don't know, but we can workshop that one in the off season. But
right.
But yeah, so I know there's some funny stuff about this Cubs Rays game. So I don't know, like, because we're gonna try to go to a couple more game, or well, like maybe at least one more game, hopefully. But I don't know. We can kind of discuss it if we want to wait a whole week to release the Friday Rays game, or maybe do it kind of like as a bonus, like a midweek bonus sort of thing, or a weekend bonus or something. But there's some funny stuff with Dennis from the Friday Rays Cubs game. So it'll all in good time. It'll come to you listeners. But yeah, some the Rays provided a lot of material for us.
They did, and a lot of autographs too. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. So for Rain Delay Theater, I'm Jack Sokowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
We'll see you next time.